Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Lori here with Interior Jewels. It's been a while since I've been live. I've actually been so sick all week. I still really am. But I've had some creative withdrawals. So I needed to create, and I thought, I'm going to come live while I do that. So if you are hopping on and you're new to my page, please give me a follow. If you are watching on YouTube, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my page. Feel free to ask me any questions. I go back and answer all of those questions. I am creating I was looking at what I had here, and I had some of this red and white mesh and some great ribbons, and I was inspired to do a patriotic wreath. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm doing this with an evergreen base, and I'm going to be adding mesh to this. So for those of you that love those mesh wreaths and are wondering how to do this on a evergreen base, that's what I will be making today. And I'm going to do this from start to finish. So for anybody hopping on, please say hi. Again, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I am using this 10-inch mesh, and this is going to, I'm just going to put that on the floor, and I am going to add this to the wreath in what I call the poof method. I really don't measure anything, I have to say. I am more of a by eye kind of person. So once I put that in there, another great thing in working with the evergreen bases is that you use these needles as your twist ties. So I love that, rather than having to, if you're doing a mesh wreath on a work form, that you have to use the pipe cleaners or a work form that already has those on there. So the poof method, I basically, again, I eyeball it and I get a nice size poof, and I'm going to be going around the outside of this wreath. And this actually, when you're done with this, makes the design bigger than what the wreath is initially, the size, which coincidentally, I just took the tag off of this, and I realized that it says it's a 24-inch wreath.
Don't get a haircut.
Okay. This is not a 24-inch wreath. This is definitely smaller than a 24-inch wreath, although it probably will wind up being. Let me see if I can see. Let me refresh this. Hold on one second. I know my voice is horrible. I apologize. And I'm hoping I don't go into a coughing fit. It really has been a miserable week. Oh, okay, I can see now. Hey, Lorraine, how are you? All right, I lost my train of thought already. Oh, when I get done, it will probably be a 24-inch wreath, but it's not now. So it's interesting sometimes what those tags say that are not exactly accurate. And I'm just going to keep turning this so I can keep, it makes it easier when I have that roll of mesh on the floor, and I just keep pulling it as I need it. And once I get the whole wreath done with the poof method, I'm going to do some rolls with this. And like I said, you'll be able to see how this is created from start to finish. And when this is finished, it will go in my Etsy shop. For any of those of you interested, you can find the link to my Etsy shop in my bio in the top in my link tree. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Oh, your first time watching. Thank you so much. I hope that you follow my page so you can see me again. No, not from the plane, Lorraine. It's been a while since we've been home. You know, my daughter is a nurse, and she keeps telling me that something funky respiratory infections are going around. My mom was just in the hospital with pneumonia, and now I got this funky thing. I don't know what it is. I keep fighting it off mentally. I started taking all my vitamins again. It's just such a nice day outside. I'm excited that spring is coming, and I refuse to be sick. So I keep fighting it off. Although, reality is I'm sick. Oh, don't jinx me. I don't want to stop coughing. Ah! So again, I keep going round and round here. As I said, I don't measure. I basically eyeball that I get these poofs the same size or close to it. There's nothing that is totally precise in my designs anyway. I always say I am one of those visual people that come up with and I have no idea like where this is even going. I pulled some things and I said I'm going to make a design with this, but I never know exactly how it's going to work. I just sort of go with it. All right, so I'm going to cut that off now. Oh, my scissors are going awful. And then with the remainder of my mesh, I'm going to make rolls to put on the inside. So I'm going to roll this back up. And let's see how long we're going to make these. I'm just going to give a cut here with my rotary cutter so that I get a straight edge. This is not my good Fiskar rotary cutter, which I don't know where that is at the moment. My workbench is a mess. See what happens when you're sick for a week. And I moved my trash can too. You know when you're used to things in a certain place and all of a sudden it's not there? Oh my goodness, it's driving me crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna take these. My map is upside down. I will give you an idea as to the length that I cut these. I'm gonna cut these at 13 inches. Wow, this is really not cutting well. Tools make a big difference in what you do. Now, the method that I use for this is I sort of roll it in on each side, so I hold it against my body to do that. Once it's rolled, let me get this straight. Then I sort of just scrunch it, and it gives me a bundle. So these I'm going to put on the inside ring of the wreath. This has a double ring on the back. So the poof method I did on the outside ring, I'm going to do these rolls on the inside ring. I'm just going to cut a bunch of these. This is not a very big wreath, so it's not going to take too many of them. So this normally goes pretty quickly. And again, especially if you have the right tools. I didn't stop to see that I had my correct rotary cutter, but we make do. A replacement, only me, Lorraine. It could do. But I have my good one around somewhere. I'm just not going to go searching for it. So I'm just trying to press hard to see if we can get a good cut through here. And I'm just going to keep cutting until I get to the end of this roll. I don't know how many I'm going to need. I'm probably going to have to open up another roll, which is fine. And I was just inspired to do a patriotic wreath for some reason. And I think because of this ribbon. I love this ribbon. This is a 4-inch ribbon. And actually, this is a Christmas ribbon. But it's a burlap and it has the red stitching on the end. I just love that it's 4 inches. It's really substantial and it holds its shape so nice. And I think that's what inspired me to do a patriotic wreath. I wanted to do something with red. And I had this red and white mesh, and I said, I haven't done a mesh wreath in a while. I don't often do mesh wreaths. I prefer working with grapevines and florals. And I will be adding greenery in this as well, which fills it up even more. I just feel like a hot mess today. But I pushed myself and I said, if I push that live button, that's gonna make me do this. Otherwise, I'm heading for that couch again, and I can't do that. I can't. I've been laying around all week. It is time to get patriotic up, I know. Usually I'm never on time when you're supposed to have things like that up. Someone just told me today, normally we try and be 3 months ahead of a holiday or a season to get things up, especially in our Etsy shop and things like that. But somebody told me today, 4 months, that people were shopping early. I'm not sure how they know that or why people are doing that. Something to do with the economy and thinking that they wouldn't have money to buy the extras that they want or the fun decor items that they want and taking it now. A lot of people are selling fall items. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's just getting way too ahead for me. My brain can't go that far ahead. I just can't go that far ahead. Even though I know that I should. I'm trying to just concentrate on spring. And see, now I fluff these as I go along. And this is a very easy method. I think this is called a cruffle method, if I'm not mistaken. Lorraine, you would know that. Wouldn't you? Lorraine is on here, another fellow wreath maker who makes gorgeous mesh wreaths. Crafty Therapy by Elle. I use mesh more for an additional design element. I love using these evergreen bases. Hey, how are you? I made myself come on live. There we go. Got you plugged in. I had the plug right next to it, but I forgot to plug it in. See, my brain's not totally there. Cruffland or woodland? Oh, I never heard of woodland ruffle. I've heard of cruffle, so I think that's what I call it. Eileen, you know my phone is always running out of charge. Look at that, had just enough. And again, working with the evergreen wreaths, that you use these pine tines to just tie everything in makes it so much easier. And I did fluff out my wreath first, but sometimes the needles need some doing. And you know what? I'm going to put a few more in just to make it a little bit fuller. Again, no rhyme or reason. I don't count. There I go again, trying to put things in my trash can. That's not there because I moved it. I don't count. I don't measure. Although I love to teach people, there are certain things that I don't have an exact recipe for. Which doesn't mean that I can't do it. but this was on a whim that I said, I am going to make a design. I just looked at the materials that I had and said, okay, I'm going to make something with this. It's not a design that I did before. There's no recipe to it. I'm just using the elements and we'll see how it goes. The Cruffle method. Very easy and they go quick. So wherever I think it needs another one, I will put in another one. It just fills it up. I'll probably put in 3 or 4 more. Then I will put my bow on so I know where that goes. And then I'm going to fill in with greenery. That's my favorite part. Designing from the heart. There you go. That's very true. Designing from the heart. Or brain, or whatever mood I'm in for the day. This stuff does stick to things. And it sticks to each other. All right, let's see if I can fill this in from the ones that I have now. Is everybody getting their dinner ready? I did this right at dinner time. It shows you that I'm not cooking. Actually, maybe I'll do something easy later. My husband's been asking for grilled cheese. And I said, you know what? I can handle that. Definitely handle that. That's an easy one. Maybe some soup. I would like that. Okay. One more and I think we are good with these. And see how it just made that wreath so full? You know what? I'm seeing that camera angle and I'm going to lift my camera up a little bit because I think it will give you a little bit of a better view. So let me just get this in. You know what? Let me see on here. I'm looking on my phone rather than on my computer. Let's see. Oh no, you can see it, right? Watching. Thank you so much. I hope that you follow my page so you can see me again. Let me turn off this volume. Why is this so far behind? Oh, okay. I'm gonna lift the camera up just a little bit. There, so you can see the whole thing. Now I'm going to make my bow. That was my inspiration. It's usually one item that is my inspiration for starting something, and it's this ribbon. I also thought about, I have gorgeous navy velvet ribbon. I'm debating whether I should put that in there. I have these two, and I have this red and white check too. I feel like I have to add white because I have red and white here. I don't know if this velvet would be too dark on top of this. What do you think? Is anybody on? Should I add the velvet or no? You froze, or it's my phone. Eileen, I'm gonna say it's your phone. Tonight was pasta with frozen meatballs at time. Hey, that sounds good to me. That sounds good to me. All right, who's here? Give me a yay or a nay for this velvet ribbon. I'm gonna get my, what do you call it, out? My cable ties, that's how I secure my bow, and I'm also going to get my pipe cleaners out because that is how I secure the bow to the wreath in a design like this. Normally a grapevine wreath, I will secure it with a cable tie. But for this, because it's deep, if I go all the way in, then your bow gets sunken in, and I don't want that to happen. The frozen comments, oh, sorry, Eileen. I can see it becoming patriotic with the blue velvet and another bow to do Christmas. So yes on the velvet, because I do love it. I'm going to go with it. And you know what I say? If you don't like it, I could turn around and do it again. I'm going to put my blade away. I just love this ribbon. I'm going to hold this up. I want a tail. I think that looks like a good size. Nice big bow. Twist this. I was looking to see if there was really a right and a wrong side to this. Make sure I have my loops the same size. Just gonna give this a nice big cut this and make a double listing for Chris. All of my peeps on here who are fellow Etsy people who are telling me to make another wreath like this for Christmas. And this design can go either way. I could definitely make this into Christmas. But right now, I'm shooting for patriotic. And I am going to use the velvet ribbon because I just love it. So let's see. Very luxurious. Easy peasy. Lorraine, you taught us well. And your teachings are being cemented in by other people as well. So we listen. Takes me a little longer sometimes. Okay, got the velvet. Okay, and now I'm going to use some of that red and white check as well. And I think I'm just going to use this in strips. I'm not going to do loops in that. That's another way of adding another color and texture into your bows. They don't have to necessarily be loops. I could just put them in as tails to add that color. So I'm going to add 2 of these and see how this goes. And you can see I'm not using my bow maker. I'm doing this by hand. I do prefer to make bows by hand. It's just a matter of what you get comfortable with. I had someone commenting on my YouTube video the other day that she can't make a bow to save her life. And I will challenge anyone who says that. I guarantee you I can teach you how to make a hand bow. And all it is practice. Okay, so I got that. Now I think I will put in some stars and stripes, which will scream patriotic. Okay. These darn scissors. Jeez. Okay. Got it. See how it's coming to life here? It's coming to life. And I sort of like to keep fluffing it while I have it in my hand so I can get an idea of the shape and how much more I want to add, if anything. And I think I'm going to use this skinny one on top of this. This has a red and white border as well. Just pretty to finish it off with. It doesn't have a right and wrong side, so that makes it a little easy. Again, I apologize for my voice. Oh, as I said, it's not been a good week for me. But I said, if I get downstairs, I managed to get myself in the shower and get myself dressed today. That was a huge accomplishment. And I said, I'm going to go down in the shop and make something, because that will make me feel better. So here I am, sharing a wreath from start to finish with you. And I think I'm going to take a piece of this and just put this in the middle. Do a little loop with this. Okay, now I'm going to zip tie this. And now normally I would put another zip tie within the back of this because that's how I attach them to my grapevine wreaths. You want to make sure that you have your zip tie in the middle, even if you have to fold it in half. At least you're not coughing. Oops, you just coughed. I'm trying. I'm trying very hard not to go into a coughing fit. Okay, and before I tighten that all, I have my pipe cleaners. I twisted 2 of them together because this is a thick wreath, so I want to make sure that I have it long enough. Use a pipe cleaner so you can switch. Thank you, Eileen. You're becoming the expert here on wreaths. I love it. I love it. Okay, a little bit of fluffing, and then I will cut and finish fluffing when it's on the wreath. Let me cut this tail off and see how I want to place this. Excuse my back. I have these tails hang down over here. So we are going to fish him through over here. Oh, get it placed. Oh wait, there's a hook on this. I want to make sure. 1 second. There's a hook on this wreath that is built in. Ah, see? Good thing I looked for that because I don't have it right now. There's the top. So I want this to go in over here. And again, I'm using the pipe cleaners because I can better determine the depth of the bow. I don't want to pull it, so if I used a cable tie, it would pull it so tight that it would make the bow sunken in and it would lose its shape. So I think we are good over here. Okay. Now I will cut. I'm going to dovetail the ends of these. Excuse my back. them fluffed out. These I'm only going to do on an angle. You see those tails in there that are not, they're not loops, but they add another color and another ribbon. So you can add as many tails as you like of different ribbons. And it's a great thing to do too if you don't have a lot of a certain ribbon to make the actual bow with, but you have enough just to make the tails. So it's a great use of your ribbon as well. Two more to go. And I like these a little bit longer. Do this one a little bit longer so both of those ribbons are seen. They really are beautiful ribbons. There we go. Not wreaths, listings. Okay, I know you two are probably talking to each other and I totally missed that, but that's okay. Next, I'm going to start adding some greenery to this. Let me just cut this one off because this is hanging over. Believe it or not, this little ribbon is not a wired edged ribbon. There are only very few instances where I don't use or where I will use a non-wired ribbon, and it would be in the middle like that, which is fine. Not the ones hanging down or not in my loops that need to be shaped. Okay, I have two greens here, and here's another tip. These are both garlands. This is an ivy garland, and this is, I don't know what the name of this is, but it's a fern-like garland. So you don't always have to use a floral or a greenery bush. Many times I will use garlands, and I cut off pieces. I'm going to start with the ivy. I love using ivy because of its trailing habit. You know how you play. I love to have it just gracefully trail down. So I'm just going to cut off a bunch of pieces here, and I am going to stick them sporadically through the wreath, and then I will do the fern one as well. And sometimes you can get really good deals on the garlands. So it's a great way to get more bang for your buck. Okay, let's see. And I glue the edge of these. And this will glue right to the greenery of the wreath. And see what I mean? Then the wreath starts to take on a bigger presence. It becomes bigger right in front of your eyes. And it just adds so much to it. I love adding greens. And again, they're all wired stems, so you can manipulate them to go in whatever direction you need them to go. I like to take the little ones too and have them come out of my bow. Again, whenever working with florals or greenery. The goal is always to make it look as natural as possible. It's a nice long one. I'll have this come out the side. I'm going to keep cutting some of this off. Just let me clippers. I think my cold meds are kicking in. Yay! Don't jinx yourself, Lori. Don't jinx yourself. And see, there are pieces about this big that I'm cutting. So you can really get a lot off of a garland. I do the same when I'm doing floral arrangements as well. I'm going to get some trailing out of the bottom. And then that fern will fill it up beautifully as well. That's a very wispy type of green. I always say when you're using greens, use a variety, use different colors, use different textures and shapes. That's what it makes it look more natural, more rich. A bit more higher end. All right, let's start with some of these wispies, and I can keep adding whatever I think I need to add. Just going to try and find the end of this. It's not so easy to tell what the end is. Then I'm just going to cut off individual pieces of this. And they snip off so easily into many little pieces. So let's see. Hi, Marianne, how are you? I said I haven't seen everybody in so long. I've been so sick this past week, and I haven't been on live. So people are getting to see this on both. This will be on YouTube as well as Facebook. I'm working on a patriotic wreath here that will be going in my Etsy shop. When it is completed, you can find my Etsy shop in my link tree at the top of the page. Okay. And I'm just adding these greeneries. It'd be a good day not to burn myself as well. Always a good day when I don't burn myself. Hey, Teresa, how are you? Boy, everybody's on at this time. I wasn't expecting anyone to be on at this time. Oop, see, I said it and it happened. Don't put it out to the universe and it won't happen. As I often say to myself, Lori, keep your mouth shut. It's twice now. And see how it's just coming to life? Make sure you get your glue strands. And like I said, these are on wire stems, so if you need to manipulate any of these greens, you can. Oop. It's like a reunion here. I need another glue. And it keeps filling in. I like to get a lot of greenery in there to really fill that in so that I'm not seeing any blank spaces. We're good, nice day up here, out trying to redistribute those crazy tiger lilies that are cut. Oh, tiger lilies definitely spread like wildfire. They're so pretty though. I was out earlier looking at all my daffodils that are coming up, and my husband really planted a lot of bulbs and spring flowers last year. And he's sort of having a fight with the squirrels because somehow the squirrels know it and they're digging them up. My husband was so mad. He says, I paid so much money for all those flowers and they're just taking, and the squirrel was sort of like a daredevil. He dug it up and went in the tree with the bulb and was sitting there gnawing on it, like right in our faces, like, haha, you can't get me. Oh, and I'm cracking up and he's getting mad at me for laughing. He's like, do you know how much money I spent on all of that? I'm like, I'm sorry, but that's pretty funny. All right. Now I want to get these out in the side too. I'm going to go in between the ivy that I put there already so that I can keep extending. That's how a lot of the bulbs, exactly. I don't understand why they like them. I could see when they destroyed my pumpkins, at least that seems like something good to eat. But the bulbs, like, why? My goodness. Let me get one in there. See, and you sort of have to keep standing back and looking at it and seeing if it's missing anything or if there's a hole somewhere. Sometimes when you're right on top of it, it's hard to see. I have to take a step back and really start looking at it. Okay, I'm going to put some of those in there. I love the way that this is filling in. A very simple, pretty, patriotic wreath that could really be used all year. Some people are very big on their patriotic decor and leave it up all year. So this is definitely something that you can do that with. I'm going to put a few things in around the bow over here. Let me move this ribbon. I don't want to get any glue on that beautiful velvet ribbon. And see how the greenery just peeks out from behind the bow. Again, making it look a little bit more natural. No blank spaces. Okay. Keep fluffing my bow here. I have glue all over my fingers. What are you thinking? Let me put it a little closer. See how the greenery just fills it up? You could tell too the thickness of this. Loving it. I am debating whether I should put red flowers in here. I was originally thinking I just wanted to go with the greens and not add flowers. I don't know. What do you think? Anybody got an idea? Thank you. Leave it, huh? That's my initial thought. Not to add the red flowers. I think I may go with another greenery that I'm going to add in here. This is another garland that I have, which is more like a eucalyptus. I just feel that it needs something a little bit more. So I'm going to add in a few pieces of this and see how this goes. As I said, when you're working with greenery, you want variety. You want different shades, different textures. Of course, that didn't work out. I think I like this better too than with the flowers. I don't want flowers in this one. It wasn't my initial thought. The added red takes away, but I agree. I'm with ya. Yeah, and this just adds a little bit of fullness to this. See, I told you I didn't have a definite idea when I started this, and it sort of takes shape as I work on it. That's the way I roll. Not everybody rolls like that, but it's the way that I roll. I let my creative juices take me where they're going to take me. This in here. Yeah, see, that just gave this the fullness that it needed. Another piece over there. Because by the time that I'm done, you would not be able to tell that that is an evergreen base. Not that you have to hide that, but it sort of gives me an indication of how full my design is when I can't see what the base is when I'm working on things like this. You know, the same doesn't hold true for working on a grapevine wreath, because a grapevine wreath, I more often than not do a crescent shape. So you actually are seeing the grapevine wreath, which is pretty to see. But I like to get this full that you really don't know what the base is. I have that very often when I post my pictures. People ask me, what is the base? What is that made out of? Put in a couple more pieces of this. And that's my goal, to get a full design. That it just looks lush and full. A little bit over here. See how you have to keep standing back? Exactly. I hate to say wing it, because it sounds like I don't put, it sounds like you're less serious about it, and that's not the case at all. I just pull the elements that I know I'm going to work with, and I sort of let the design happen as I'm working on it. If I have a thought in my head, sometimes that doesn't always work out. It doesn't look the way that I wanted it to, so I change. And that's fine. I take creative license. one down here, and I think we may be done. Yeah, and see how that just filled that up. I love it. Alrighty. I am so happy that I came on here and made myself do this. It made me feel better. And I made it without a severe coughing fit. That's always good. And I am so happy that I got to chat with some of you. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I always get back to all the questions. If you are new to my page on Facebook, please give a follow. And if you're watching on YouTube, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my page. That greatly helps me get out there to others who may like the same content. I truly appreciate it. I hope all of you have a wonderful evening. Go enjoy. And I think I may get back to those grilled cheese for my husband. Again, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.